So in my last video, Ramblings in France, somebody commented, no one, probably my loyalist and earliest subscriber, always comments, always follows along, commented about the Normandy beaches and almond growing. And I mentioned in the comments that I have a sextant that was left to my father by a very famous man, Iorys Hughes. And he suggested it would be a good idea to make a video of it. So thank you, no one, for your suggestion. Here it is. It's a very short one. Iorys Hughes, incredible Welshman. In World War II, he invented the Mulberry Piers, which pretty much made the D-Day landings possible. And he invented and engineered and produced the Mulberry Piers, which incredibly at Arromanches are still there. You can still see them. And an amazing man. And later in life, he was this unassuming sailor on an island near Colchester in Essex called West Mersey. And he would sit in the yacht club and chat. And he was chatting to my dad, became close friends with my dad. And he was telling my dad a number of stories. And it came out that during World War II, Iorys Hughes, who's well known, by the way, this is no secret, Iorys Hughes was being dropped off by submarine on the Normandy beaches. He was then rowing ashore in a black inflatable, SAS style, commando style, onto the beach. He was deflating the boat and hiding it. He was dressed as a fisherman, and I understand that Winston Churchill made him a captain before he went, so that if he got caught, at least he would have a chance of survival. He would then go ashore at night from the submarine and spend days, or nights more accurately, surveying the beaches of Normandy, looking for a suitable place to land. And to do that, he had a sextant that was made especially for him. He left this sextant to my dad, who was quite a close friend by then, and when my dad died, he left it to me. Such an incredible piece of history has been sitting on a shelf on my bookcase, and I just felt it was a terrible waste. So I contacted the Arromanches Museum, which is the museum for the Normandy landings, and asked them if they would like a loan of it. I'll come on to why I suggest the loan of it and not giving it to them. My reason was such an incredible item needs to be seen by people. The story of him, being landed on an inflatable boat at night, facing constant checks by German foot soldiers. And apparently when he was stopped, he would speak Welsh, and they couldn't understand a word of it. Well, none of us can. I guess the Welsh can. I suspect there's Welsh that can't either. Oh my God, I'm going to get in trouble for that. Anyway, he would speak Welsh, and they would think that it was some Breton dialect, some local fisherman's dialect. And of course, holding a sextant was not particularly out of ordinary for a fisherman either. They would navigate by angles. So a sextant was a pretty normal piece of equipment to be carrying. And so he would be dropped off by submarine. He'd spend nights, I suspect probably a week or so, days to a week, dropped off at night and surveying, going along the beach, surveying the beach. And he would use the sextant to measure the angle to the top of the cliff so that he could work out the height of the cliff, work out whether they can get over it or what they needed to get over it. And then he'd pack it all back up, inflate the boat, row out and be picked up by a submarine at night again. It's incredible what people would do. And just when you just think of the logistics of picking up somebody in a black rowing boat at night at sea, you only have to think how easy it is to fall overboard of a boat. You'll never be seen again, lost in the sea, in the vastness of the sea. And the fact that they even managed to pick this guy back up again is incredible. And there's this thing in a box. So let's have a quick look at it. As I say, I'm hoping to loan it to the museum. And for those of you that are still interested, the reason I want to loan it to the museum is I understand this museum has been closed a number of times, probably due to funding or staffing or whatever. And I was loath to give it to them and then find later on the museum has closed, and it's just been put in a shelf somewhere, a repository somewhere, not belonging to anyone anymore. And so I'm hoping to negotiate with the museum that if it's no longer on display, they will get it back to me, because I would hate to see this item, which again, you know, was from my father. I'd hate to see it just get lost in administrative nightmares of a museum. So hopefully on the way home from France next, I'll get to call in at the museum, and if I can get that assurance that that it would be given back to me if it's no longer on display, if the museum closes, then I'll be happy to leave it with them. And I think it'd be incredible, and I think it's something that people need to see. Let's have a quick look at it. So here's the sextant. On the top it says Angle Sextant 1902. My feeling is it probably didn't travel in this box, because obviously getting caught with English on something was not going to be a good sign. It had a letter of provenance. I'm not going to show you it because unfortunately it's got a lot of personal stuff to my dad, and I don't think that's for YouTube. This is the actual sextant. It has one screw that's sheared off, which is a shame. Again, with all these things, I'm loath to actually repair that. You can do more harm to these things repairing them than leaving them as is. So this would be in his pocket. As I say, highly unlikely the box ever went with it. And if stopped by German foot soldiers, looking like a fisherman, a Breton fisherman, it's unlikely this would raise any great alarm. It's an incredible item. Its simplicity is just fantastic. So there's a spirit level on this side and a sighting glass, and he would sight the top of the cliffs, level up the spirit level, and then read the angle on the other side. And of course, knowing the angle to the top of the cliffs, the distance to the cliff, you can work out the height of the cliffs. Beautiful little item, and when you think what this has been through and what it's seen, it's an incredible item, really. There was a friend who said to me I should sell it. If I sell it, yes, I'll probably get some reasonable money. Probably won't get great money for it, I wouldn't think, but nobody will get to see it. It will go into somebody's collection and it will never be seen again. Whereas if it's in a museum, lots of people will get to enjoy it. So I'm hoping to get the deal with the museum that gives me the assurance that if they're not displaying it, it comes back to me. Absolutely incredible item, and just incredible to think that it belonged to Iorys Hughes and what he's used it for. Just amazing. It was left to my dad by Iorys Hughes' late wife, Jane Hughes, and along with a number of other items, actually, of amazing sailing interest. So incredible people. Well, I hope that was interesting. It was just a little throw in here. As I say, no one suggested it. No one suggested it. And it was a good idea to sort of document it before I go and hand it over. So I hope that was interesting. I've got a few other interesting items along that line. I'm going to pop them on here. They're not really part of my channel, so I'm going to make them quick. And the other thing is, last week, as I promised, I was going up to see my friend who lives off-grid in France. We thought the weather was going to be good. It was atrocious. We tried recording some stuff. It came out very dark, nothing but blustery wind, though we did have a funny thing happen to us. So it's cold. Thanks. We have so much fun. Which I'll cover when I make the video. But hopefully tomorrow, the forecast is fantastic. Clear blue skies, sunny and no wind. And so hopefully tomorrow I'll get the chance to re-record the off-grid, and I'll get that on here as soon as I can. See you then. Hi there. This video is what I call an aside. It's not part of my main channel, but it's where typically I promise somebody a bit more information, or I want to make a video that's not really mainstream for my channel, or maybe much too long to go on my channel. But if you like this and you found it useful, you may like my main channel. So check it out. I'll put a link up here and have a look and join us.